Greetings, my friends. My name is Ka Do, and I am the program coordinator for the Music and Worship Studies program at Boyce College here at Southern Seminary. My lecture today is part of a series on worship leadership and design entitled Planning Worship Services. Why? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Those 3 question marks are trademarked, by the way. My message is not just for church musicians, but everyone who takes part in leading gatherings or services. So this could be youth groups, small Bible studies, family worship services, or even adult services. And I want to answer the question, why plan at all? If worship is just something that we all do and it's happening all the time, why should we plan? Well, our answer comes from Psalm 115, and I want to spend a little bit of time reading this for us. Psalm 115, the psalmist writes, "Not to us, O Lord, not to us, but to your name give glory, because of your loving kindness and because of your truth. Why should the nations say, 'Where now is their God?' But our God is in the heavens. He does whatever he pleases. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of man's hands. They have mouths, but they cannot speak. They have eyes, but they cannot see. They have ears, but they cannot hear. They have noses, but they cannot smell. They have hands, but they cannot feel. They have feet, but they cannot walk. They cannot even make a sound with their throat. Those who make them will become like them, everyone who trusts in them." The first reason we plan is because if we don't, we fall prey. Or in the words of Benjamin Franklin, who was a smart guy but not a great theologian, if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. Notice that the psalmist distinguishes 2 types of worship, 2 kinds of worship: true worship of Yahweh and idol worship. Paul says something similar in Romans 1:22 through 23. Let me turn there really quick. Paul writes, "Professing to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the incorruptible God for an image in the form of corruptible man and birds and 4-legged animals and crawling creatures. Therefore, God gave them over." We are all worshipers. Apart from the saving work of God, we choose to worship other things, lesser things, things with less glory. It's like we're presented with 2 options: God's glory and everything less. And we say, I'll go with lesser glory. Default. Apart from the saving work of Christ, that is our default. What does that mean for Sunday? It means if we're not careful, we might actually lead people in worship of themselves or something else. It means that we might think we're worshiping the God of the Bible, but actually be worshiping a God created by our own imaginations and our own preferences. Here's a good exercise. Look at your last Sunday service, all the songs and all the prayers, and ask, who is God? Who is God? Is he holy? Is he just? Is he great? Is he the God of the Bible? And then maybe even ask, who is man? My concern is that in a lot of our churches, we think we're worshiping the God of the Bible, but in fact are worshiping a God created by our own preferences. And sometimes even in the lyrics of our songs, we tend to emphasize all that we do for God, as if we deserve his love or we're entitled to his kindness. Another reason we plan worship is because we become what we behold. Notice that in Psalm 115, the psalmist says, "Those who trust and worship idols will become like them." But the good news for us who believe in Jesus is, as Paul says in 2 Corinthians 3:18, if we behold Christ, we become like him. 2 Corinthians 3:18 says, "But we all with unveiled faces behold as in a mirror the glory of the Lord Jesus, as being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as from the Lord the Spirit." So if we behold Jesus, we become like him. Again, look at your Sunday services. Who is Jesus? What has he done? Does your worship revolve around the person of Jesus Christ? Does it involve looking to him and beholding him? So let me put all my cards on the table. I was 15 when I first decided to follow Jesus, and then a year later at 16, I was invited to lead worship for our youth group. It took about a week for me to learn all 5 chords for all the songs in our youth group. I know that's very impressive. And you might be thinking, what did you do when Passion rolled out that new album and all the songs were in B flat? Well, 4 letters and 2 syllables, K-po. I just put that capo on the 3rd fret and I was good to go. But like a lot of us, there was no playbook. What did I do come Sunday? Well, I just did whatever everyone else did the Sunday before. And while there was no playbook, there was laminate books. If you don't know what laminate sheets are, ask your parents or grandparents or look in the basement of your church. It's going to be next to the Ark of the Covenant. But what I did was just carbon copy what others did before me. But maybe, just maybe, now you're at the point in your life like I was, where you're starting to ask questions like, why? Why do we do the things that we do? What does the Bible have to say about instruments? What is the connection between our intellect and our emotions? Why do some churches raise hands during songs and others don't? Why do we plan services and how do we plan them in order that God's people might be transformed to look more like Jesus? Or maybe you're asking the ancient question, why are drummers always late? Well, the great thing is that the Lord uses these questions to lead us to his word and sometimes even to mentors and books. And for some of you, maybe a Christian college. So if you're starting to ask those questions, that's really good. Let me be the first to invite you to bring those questions to Boyce College. And together, may we behold Christ and become more like him together.